Hi guys, good evening, namaste, welcome back to our channel. My name is Nash. Welcome back to Nashvlogs. I'm so glad you're back here. If you just landed on my video or our videos, please consider subscribing and give us a like button as well. So today, as you see the title, I am here to talk about the important must-haves of a daughter-in-law in India. Why am I here to talk about it? Well, I've had so many questions about my dressing sense. I've received so many comments. Some are negative, some are good. Okay, like the negative part is so little, like a very little one, but the one that is interested in knowing more about me is the hugest number. And I have been getting so many questions about why I dress up as I am. So yesterday, while I was out and about minding my own business, somebody just popped out on me. Trust me, I wasn't putting on a kurti, I was in jeans, but somebody just popped out on me because of having a sindoor and a tikili, and they're like, excuse me. I'm like, yes. Are you Indian? I said, no, I'm proudly Ugandan. And they're like, oh, you're Ugandan? I said, yes. And she's like, why are you dressed up like an Indian? I'm like, where? Sometimes I really forget about this and the jewelry and stuff. And she's like, what is that red thing on your head? So I'm going to explain about all this, the red thing that I put on my head, the dot that I put in my eyes, those ones that in between my eyebrows. Those ones that know about it really know about it, that don't know about it are going to learn about it today. So when you get married in an Indian, first pause on there, as I said in the previous video, I got married in a not so modern family, and my mother-in-law calls me 3 to 4 times a day. And I don't want her to, have that second thought or maybe a feeling in her, like I wish my son married an Udia daughter, like an Udia daughter-in-law to bring her home. Like I don't want her to have that feeling in her. Like whenever she calls, sometimes I don't have this on. Sometimes like I forget about it, and then she's like, where is it? Like, why don't you have this? Why is it? So in India, especially in my husband's culture in India, they really believe, and they really how should I call it? They really trust. They believe a lot in their tradition, right? And their tradition, when you're a daughter-in-law of a home, there are some things that you should do. Like they believe that is protecting their son's life. Okay, that is their culture. Don't judge them. Okay, so just like how we get married here and we put on the rings. Well, we did put on the rings, me and my husband. We did that wedding here and we exchanged rings. But then in India, the ring session is the engagement session, and then the marriage one is a sindoor. So sindoor is vermilion in English, and that is why I always have it on my head, because my husband did that. This is it. I keep it in this little cute jar, and it comes in powder form, right? It comes in powder form. You just use it every day in the morning. Like you stop using it when you have lost a husband. That is what Indians believe. That is what is believed in India. When you stop using it, that means you're a widow. You understand what I'm saying? Now, when my mother-in-law calls me and she finds when I don't have this, I don't want her to feel bad about it. And I like the culture as well. So growing up, my mother said, when you go where they eat dogs, you have to end up eating dogs, like meaning like in the other way, like you have to learn the culture. Like when you go where they eat dogs, you have to eat them. That is obvious, right? So when I got married in India, obviously I had to take over the culture. Now, most of the times I'll be wearing a kurti because I'm comfortable in kurtis. Trust me, when I feel like I don't want jeans and stuff, I just put on a kurti and I feel so comfortable. Now, having a sindoor, having a tikili. So tikili is like a little sticker. This is so small. This is what I prefer using here in Uganda because it doesn't show that much. But then when I'm in India, my mother-in-law prefers me using something that is bigger than this, because she says when I use this, it's like I'm just in my periods. So the sindoor is the most vital thing of a married woman in India. When you're married in India, sindoor is the first thing that you must have on your way to go. If you go out, if you have, just the first thing that you should have with you, on you, right? Every morning you have to put it, like for life. Until you have your partner with you, you have to use it. Okay, so vermilion, tikili, I don't know how it is called in English, just this is how it looks like, but I don't know how it is called in English. They come on a little piece of paper, and you just take one. And now in Odisha, the other thing that is really important for a married woman to have is this white bangle. Now they usually give you a brass bangle which comes before the white bangle, but I've taken that off. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about that. But that brass bangle is the one that you put on after you lose a husband. That shows that you're a widow. So this and the red one, they're so vital when you're a married woman in Odisha, right? And then the other thing that is so vital for a married woman in Odisha is, of course, the one everybody knows. So I have my Mangal Sutra here. I don't know, maybe people must have been questioning about it. Like, if I'm married, why don't I have the nuptial chain? So this is called a nuptial chain in English, and I have it here, but I don't use it in here. I don't use it in Uganda because, of course, sometimes I'll be putting on jeans and stuff, and it is typically a traditional thingy which was got by my mother-in-law, obviously. So this looks so good on saris, and it doesn't look good on kurti. Okay, kurtis also is okay, but it doesn't look that much good on jeans and stuff, and most of the times I'm putting on jeans. So this is why I end up using a chain. And usually a married woman in India is not supposed to be having a plain neck, right? So because of not using my Mangal Sutra like a daily thingy, I end up using a a chain, so that I don't have a plain neck, right? So the other thing, I don't know, maybe people must have been questioning themselves. She's married, where is her nuptial chain? Here is my nuptial chain, here is my sindoor, here is my tikili, and I have, if you must have noticed, I always have either the white bangle alone, or maybe two bangles, or maybe the red one alone, or maybe these two. But these are vital. Like a red one and a white one is too vital in Odisha. In my husband's culture, that symbolizes that somebody is married. Okay, and then the other thing that is more important for a married woman in India is, when you're married in India, you have, it's a must in my husband's culture to have these, okay, and these. So these are toe rings, and these are anklets. So if you're married in my husband's culture, it is super important for you to have anklets on and the toe rings on. That is the other thing that is so important in my husband's culture. Now, to the part of people asking me why I dress up like this, I've already told you guys, I am married to an Indian. For those of you who don't know about it, I don't know, most of you must have been knowing about this, but let me make it clear. I am married to an Indian, and his family is not that much modern, and they wouldn't, love it to see me just moving plain, as for them, they believe it's cursing their son, and I wouldn't want that to happen. I want them to be, having those thoughts of I wish, you know what I'm saying. Putting on kurtis, my background is somehow related to kurtis, so that is so normal about that. And putting on kurtis makes me super comfortable, very comfortable. And I don't know why people mistake me for being an Indian, or maybe some say we thought you're that from the dark side, like those Indians who are usually dark. I don't know, you guys must be knowing it. There, those Indians that are dark. So people usually ask me, some are okay, some are like, oh wow, interesting, tell us more about it. And some are like, but why do you have to, behave or maybe dress up like them? Do they force you, or is it supposed to be like that, or what? No, nobody forces me to do this. No, I just love it. I love it because I am married to my husband. I mean, being married to an Indian is something that I should, be taking up this. It's not that he's forcing me to take up his culture or something, but I just love to behave like a married woman in India. You know what I'm saying? So in my husband's culture as well, when you put sindoor, you have to be putting same vermilion here, right? But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do when I have a puja or something to do. But when I put on t-shirts and I have this, it becomes too much. Like one day I had go to the bank, and that day I had a puja at my home, and I was putting on this kurti. It was so beautiful. I was having some shoes that my husband had gifted me, and they're Indianish, something like that. And I was just dressed, and I had an errand to run in the bank. I just ran into there, and while I was sitting in line, I had somebody talk behind me like, oh, I don't think she's Indian, but wow, I wish I can get a wife who could take over, you know, my culture just like the way she does. So the lady he was sitting with was asking, let's ask her, is she Indian or something? So I had, and I just turned a bit to show them, like, you know, I'm hearing what you guys are saying, but it's okay. Don't feel bad about that. It's okay. And then they just smiled. Then there are those ones that you meet and they're like, where are you putting, like, they'll be thinking it's just what should I call it, like a fantasy or something, like you fancy such things. Well, I just love being a suhagan. Suhagan in Hindi, that is Hindi. Suhagan means a married woman. Just like how you guys don't take off your rings when you're married, you know, it's the same thing that I want to give myself a feeling of being, you know, married. And it's not about being married in a different culture. I just love it when I adorn myself as a married woman, because as far as I know, when I first got married and my mother-in-law welcomed me in her home, when she was giving me all this, she was like, you know what, when you take them off, I don't know, probably she was just trying to make fun, when you take them off, my son will die. Don't take them off. Probably she knew I'm African and, you know, we don't do this. Till now she asked me, you mean in your place no lady puts on this, you know, the jewelry and stuff? I'm like, yeah, they do, but they do not do it this, you know, too much. They don't do too much of it. My mother-in-law puts on bangles up to here because she's still married, obviously. And during her time, ladies used to do that, so it's okay. But for us, when this time, only 2 bangles right now, you find somebody putting on only 1. But in Odisha, in my husband's culture, the white bangles has to be on your wrist, right? So I've talked about the nuptial chain, which is the Mangal Sutra. I've talked about the sindoor, which is the vermilion. I've talked about the tikili. I don't know what tikili is called in English. I don't know. I'm really sorry about that. So yeah, that is why I usually dress up how I am, and I love it so much. And sometimes when I, you know, unless when I'm in period, that is when I don't put the vermilion. That is when I go plain, but I have to have this because as I said, my mother-in-law calls 3 to 4 times a day, and I don't want her to be having the I wish part in her mind. So she's super proud of me. Like even other people when they call, give me a call, you know, neighbors, aunties, or whatever in India, they're like, oh, I'm so happy that you still, you know, take up the married woman thingy, even though you're in Uganda. You know what I'm saying? So when they see me putting on the bangles, they see me adorned as a married woman, it makes them happy. It makes them feel like, yeah, we got a daughter-in-law who at least values our culture. You know what I'm saying? So when I've been hearing people asking me that, people stare at me, some people will be having, you know, like question marks in their head. I just wanted to clear that. I'm going to share this video as much as I can to so many friends of mine so that they know why I do this, because people will be having questions that I can't answer. Sometimes they can't ask you, you know, face to face. So when I make such videos and people share it, don't forget to share it as well. A person who is watching, I love you so much to those people who have been watching our videos from the beginning, and those people who subscribe to our channel while we are going, you know, we are growing together. I love you as well. May God bless you. And if you've just landed on my video anywhere, please and please and please consider subscribing and give us a like, okay? And comment. By the way, commenting gives me the you know, energy to keep going with YouTube, and I like it. You know what I'm saying? So dressing up as this is not fantasy. Dressing up like this is something that I love to do because I am a Suhagan, I am a married woman, and moreover I'm married to an Indian, of which this is their culture. And in Odisha, where I got married, like, they take culture as something so important. They don't joke about culture. So this is why I'm dressed like this. So this is my nuptial chain, and yeah, if you need to know more about anything concerning my life, being married to an Indian, please comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to give our videos likes, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.